Okay, so it is just Diablo in a pocket dimension.
Pestilence,
Ugh.
Genshin Impact.
I'm sorry?
Like 50 books written about it.
Huh?
You have
They unlocked the
nothing
map.
else to do.
There's nothing to do late game.
It's a motion word, you cannot get in.
Field day!
Put $1 million in front of me, I'm sucking it.
Oh.
Cheating is bad. Did you cheat?
Happy 420!
Crispy. I don't know what that is. Whoa, the bacon.
And so I tried.
Oh, you're not knowing.
Oh, you thought we were gonna tell you?
I want somebody to whip.
But it was, whoa.
You know, I can name a couple people. Let's go.
What?
Look, you're in a race!
Yo, what's good? I'm jbro. We just recently started checking out Warhammer cinematics. I've been suggested by a lot of y'all to watch Bricky. They said like touch the brick. I'm like, yo, what are we talking about? I look, you had to look through a lot of comments talking about a brick before I understood what y'all meant. So we're starting with what is Warhammer 40k timeline of 40k lore. Now, I don't know if this is the best video to start with. I found it in a playlist. If y'all have a specific video from Bricky I should check out, let me know. I don't know that I'll go through all of them because I don't want to just rip all of bro's content. And also, I don't know, it might be a lot. I did learn about the lore a couple years ago, a little bit, but it was like a very long video. So this is going to be a refresher and I'm going to learn new stuff. Okay, let's begin.
In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium exists the Empire of Man, a backwards carcass of an empire comprised of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and incredibly heavily armored women, most likely with sweltering abs. And one must know what those abs taste like.
Huh? Wait. Whoa. Okay, this is not what I expected. But also shout out to y'all for telling me about Grimdark because I didn't know what the name of the aesthetic was. I mean, I'm not mad at it. All right, let's go.
The age of knowledge and enlightenment has ended.
Oh,
The age of darkness has begun.
that sounds fun.
Roughly 60 million years ago, there existed aliens. And these aliens lived short, painful lives. They belonged to radiation-stricken worlds and often died of various cancers before the age of 30. These aliens, the Necron tier, looked up to the stars and found extreme beings of real power, beings with the ability to create life, the old ones of the galaxy. They asked these old ones for help. Please cure us of our ailments, to which the old ones said, piss off. So the Necron tier gathered together and did the sensible thing. They declared war upon these old beings and were promptly beaten into the dirt back to their short, painful lives.
So let me get this straight. They reached out to Lovecraftian horror elements, eldritch beings, if you will, said, yo, help us out. Our lives are ass. Loki, I don't know how they didn't go extinct. When the old ones said no, they tried to scrap. They can't even scrap with their own environment. Why would they try to scrap? Okay.
In the world of Warhammer, there is a hell. This hell is not like you and I know it. It's more of an afterlife, a place where dead souls end up. This place has many names: the Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the Immaterium, and the Ether. But mostly, we just call it the Warp. While you and I know of hell as a place of horrors and punishment, the Warp isn't really that. Not in the beginning. It's energy, but the kind of energy formed from thought and soul. Psychic energy, where the dead souls of people end up in a place that is impossible to understand. No laws of reality exist. Like, time is merely a suggestion, and it is not something that can be braved easily. The warp would be like sailing the ocean in a pirate movie. To jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long on your boat could drive a man mad. And there are many dangerous things lurking in those depths. Yet the sea is not evil. It simply is. Mostly. There are more malevolent beings in those waters, areas that you do not sail towards. This would be known as the realm of chaos. The realm of chaos exists in the warp as a special area led by 3 chaos gods: Khorne, the god of combat.
This is starting to sound like
murder,
Diablo.
and slaughter, with a pile of skulls taken in his name. Tzeentch, god of change, mystery, and deceit, a confusing paradox of lies, schemes, and sorceries. And Nurgle, god of rot, pestilence, and Genshin impact. All things rot in the end. And Grandfather Nurgle is waiting for you with open arms. These gods—
Wait, this is interesting. It's like combining the concept of, is it warp space? It's also kind of just a mass of consciousness, but then it's also kind of hell. The beings here also sound kind of fundamental to reality. Because like you said, all things end in rot. That sounds more like a, is that what Grimdark encapsulates? Like the combining of sci-fi and those type of elements? Oh wait, Grimdark is a subgenre of speculative fiction, fantasy, sci-fi, and horror, characterized by bleak, amoral, and violent settings. Okay, wait, the term literally came from Warhammer. I kind of forgot that Warhammer started as a tabletop game. Okay, sorry, I'm looking stuff up. I'll have to look further into what Grimdark actually means.
Gods ruled their respective realm in the warp, sending their many followers against each other in the great game to be the most powerful of all the gods.
Okay, so it is just Diablo in a pocket dimension.
Hell is real,
well, not a pocket,
parallel to our galaxy, with the realm of chaos and its gods fighting for control. But there are also gods of real space, gods of the normal world too. They're called Catan, and they eat stars.
Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
These star gods saw the plight of our poor Necron tier and how the old ones cast them aside and said, you know what? You guys want immortality? Oh, we will make it happen. We are the gods of the tangible, of real space. We can give you a cure. So then they ate all their souls. And turned them into robotic automaton, feasting on their souls and leaving a hollow shell of an intelligence left that is technically immortal. With the power of an entire species' souls, they turned their new robotic slaves on the old ones and hunted them to extinction.
Hang on, why? Mind you, all these crazy like things are being described. I know about the old ones, but now we got, oh my god, there's levels to this. There's levels to this, bro. I'm a little confused. Why do we have so much smoke for the old ones? That the old ones it didn't sound like, based on what he described, that the old ones created the situation that the Necrons, I don't already forgot their names. I'm getting confused. It didn't seem like they created that situation. They just didn't help. So now they're getting ran up on. Like, that's kind of funny.
Necron tier, now the soulless, undying Necrons got their—
oh, now they're Necrons. That's why. Because I heard about that, but I didn't know. Okay.
Their wish at the price of their souls. But we can count the number of kind gods on an amputated hand. With time, the selfish star gods turned on each other, fighting one another for more chances at glory and power. With this, the leader of the Necrons, Zarek,
I'm sorry,
the
last time I'm
Silent
gonna mention
King,
Diablo.
the man who doomed his species when he accepted this deal, waited, planned, bide his time until he seized the perfect moment and turned his legions of undead citizens against the star gods. Gods cannot be killed, but they can be broken. So Zarek broke the star gods into thousands of pieces and locked them away in vaults, taking their free will away as they did to them, and sealed them away as basically Pokemon to be used as weapons in the future.
It's Pikachu!
This lore is, okay, this is a lot.
Zarek them—
okay, I'm sorry. Look, this video is paced very well. It's a lot happening. But to be fair, the last time I tried to learn about Warhammer lore, like I said, the video was so long, I could only watch it when I was like late at night and I was done doing everything else in life. And then I would fall asleep. So I'm a little impressed that he's packing this information in a consumable way. But it is a lot. Mind you, we haven't even got to Imperium.
With his perfect memory, exiled himself for his sins, flying out to the darkness between galaxies to atone for what he had done. This entire situation, the genocide of the old ones and the rebellion of Zarek, will go down in history as the War in Heaven. It is the most brutal war the galaxy has ever seen and ever will see. This was a conflict that took an entire galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods that ate stars. The Necrons, rather crippled from, you know, the War in Heaven, decided to go to sleep in gigantic tomb worlds on various planets until the upstart species of the galaxy died out. And So turns out when you have a war that lasts tens, hundreds of thousands of years and involves the genociding of multiple species, the old ones of the galaxy, and the consumption of souls from an entire race, the warp gets a little wacky. You know, if you had a kiddie pool and
I like these concepts. That actually makes
it
sense.
was nice and calm. Corn is over there splashing about, so you don't really go in that direction. Nurgle has explosive diarrhea, so you don't really go in that direction either. But you can still kind of get in the pool. The pool's still fine. Turns out when you add a couple trillion souls to that kiddie pool, it'll make the waves a little more turbulent. And turns out a lot of them like to pick a side, Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Corn. So the once calmer warp, the once relaxing kiddie pool has now been bloated. A million years of war will certainly make Corn, god of murder and slaughter, more powerful. A million years of war.
Okay, if it's like space, shouldn't it be kind of infinitely expanding? How would that effect work? The kiddie pool example makes sense, but when it comes to space, it's not contained like a kiddie pool, right? How does that work? Do souls enter the warp at a very specific part of the warp and then have to disperse from there?
Or will probably make Tzeentch, god of deception and change, a little more powerful. And good God, a million years of war will make Nurgle, god of decay, oh, just the tiniest bit more powerful. Now,
or is it more just the sheer amount and the effect on the gods in there rather than like actual containment of the area that makes it go out of whack? Yeah, I guess the quantity would just be how powerful they become, not so much like the amount of souls entering the space.
Just the tiniest bit more powerful. Now, entering that kiddie pool is no longer fun, it's dangerous. The warp is now a problem. Hell is resembling hell a lot closer to what we imagined it originally. The Sea of Souls and the Realm of Chaos are now intertwined. So who else to brave the galaxy than a species that won't need to deal with that?
Elder.
The Eldar are space elves. They have a lot of the traits that you probably think of when you think of elves. Tall, slender, pointy ears, bit more androgynous looking, no matter what DeviantArt will tell you, and a bit stronger on the emotional side. The old ones, as I mentioned, could create life. And when they were getting, you know, absolutely bodied by the Catan and the Necrons, they made some new races to try to help them. One of them was the Eldar. It didn't save them, but they're here now anyway. Oh, and also the orcs, but they're busy right now.
They made the orcs too?
The Eldar are a particularly psychically powerful race. So they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons, hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is basically like being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from hell. This is called being a psyker. And basically, if you want to do cool wizard shit like lightning from your hands or reading someone's mind, you can do that, but you siphon the energy to do that from the warp. Luckily, the Eldar are very good at handling this without too many negative effects because, you know, summoning power from the Sea of Souls with the new Chaos friends can be a bit of an issue, but Eldar are pretty good at it. And you see, what's really cool and also awful about Warhammer is that most developed species travel long, faster than light distances by going through that warp. They create a tear in reality to unreality and move through it faster than light.
That's what I was kind of trying to say earlier. That's neat. You see like light travel or light speed travel in a lot of different sci-fi stuff. It's like a staple, but I've never seen that concept combined with the concept of hell. And then also Warhammer has an interesting origin story for hell itself.
Travel? Cringe. We go through hell itself to deliver your packages. For those of you who play
That's kind of tough.
You know how the nether is like a pocket dimension? So moving 10 spaces in the nether is actually moving something like 1,000 in the real world. That's basically what warp travel is. Just
wait a minute. Damn. That is actually that. I guess I have seen it before. What?
Like in the nether, there are a lot of things that want to kill you. The Eldar found a way to do so in between realities. Not regular reality, not the warp, something else. A purgatory of sorts.
The
A
web-
fabricated psychic realm that allowed them to travel without fearing the negative effects of the warp. The
What?
Eldar were the perfect fit for the new galaxy, and they took it with open arms and pointy ears. The empire of the Eldar spread everywhere, and it spread all the way until now, the 21st century. That's right, while you were watching NPC streams on TikTok, the space elves were ruling the galaxy, and they did so for quite a long period of time.
Yep, like in almost every fantasy thing known to man, elves always are at the peak, and then the age of humans somehow take over. Whether it's because they go extinct or there's way less of them, it's always some shit like that.
The 21st century came and went. Humanity grew and grew, all under the nose of their elf overlords. At this time, humans advanced, your classic sci-fi style way. We began to expand, colonize our solar system, terraformed our planets, created new and more powerful machines and starships. The age of Terra, also known as Earth, but we call it Terra here, was here, and existed between the 21st century all the way until the 15th millennia. Not much is known about this time, not much needs to be known. Humanity grew up, sought the stars. It's classic. Then came the years between 15,000 and 25,000, the age of technology, or to some,
This is the part of Warhammer I'm a little
dark age
more
of technology. This is when humanity reached a
familiar
new
with.
apex of technological understanding. When you think of sci-fi, there's a lot of things you can think of. Star Trek, maybe Star Wars style. You can go cyberpunk dystopian. The age of technology was deep sci-fi, like a scientific prowess that fringed on magic. This is also when the first ever psychers began showing up in humanity. Individuals with the genetic mutation to be able to access the warp, and then because of that, travel through it. Humanity was no longer constricted to their early ways of travel. With warp travel, they could go anywhere in the galaxy.
This is like a little more Dune-like, more so than Star Wars or Star Trek types. The way I think about it in my head, you know how Star Wars is more sci-fi fantasy than just sci-fi? Ooh, would I put Dune past Star Wars? Actually, I'll have to finish Dune. I haven't read the book. I haven't seen all the movies. I haven't seen the old movies, and I'm waiting on, the current movies. On one hand, I'd put The Expanse. That show is amazing. It's like the most realistic sci-fi. Almost sci-fi space epic, I should say, or stuff that for sure doesn't exist. There's still the fi and the sci, but it's like very grounded, mostly focuses on a lot of political themes. And then on the other side, you have stuff like Dune and Star Wars that gets more into the mythological, fantastical stuff. This right here is interesting because it's almost like it's sci-fi, but the sci-fi is just a byproduct, and it focuses heavily on the before and after of the sci-fi high technology period.
They equipped ships with gigantic AI machines, with everything you would ever need to know about mankind, and sent them out on colony ships to expand their influence across the galaxy.
Every other
And
sci-fi
this
thing
was
would be in this
truly
time
the
period.
golden age of humanity. And with every golden age,
Oh my
there
God.
is a fall. While the new
Oh no.
human upstarts of the
What a show,
galaxy
Griff.
were reaching new levels of technology and prowess, the Eldar were engaging in
Huh?
what happens
Wait, what do you
when
mean?
a species has everything? You can
Oh, no.
produce unlimited food out of nothing. Your need for farmers and workers, gone. You have dominated the stars and have created a fast travel system that doesn't rely on the dangers of the warp. You have
They unlocked
nothing
the map.
else to do. You have no struggles, no problems,
Oh, no.
and feel as if there is nowhere else to go. Well,
There's nothing
you
to do
begin
late game.
experiment. The Eldar started harmless enough. You take a serious interest in your species' culture, your arts, paintings, poems, plays. These are Eldar, elves. Remember? Their emotions are heightened, more powerful than us humans. So your plays get louder. They start to push on the limits of your hearing ability. Your music becomes different, more deranged. It pushes the boundaries of what is art. The visual spectacle of art becomes more bizarre, more delusional, more eccentric. And
Who
let's
wrote
not
all this,
forget
bro?
a very important sense. touch. Pornography is one thing.
I'm a virgin.
Brothels is another. What if they all mixed? What if your brothels were part of your art and music? And what if those became more deranged? The boundaries of debauchery were not just met, but shattered. Next thing you know, murder is commonplace and often mixed with the art, music, and sex. Pain is a common byproduct.
Wait, no. Okay, this deadass sounds like they're becoming, oh my God. Guys, you right there, commenter number 73, you know what I'm talking about. What's the horror? Oh my God, no, I'm searching it up right now. I'm gonna get mad. Hellraiser. It's literally like Hellraiser. Are they turning into the Cenobites, bro? This is what I was trying to describe. In their original incarnation, they manifested as devout followers of a supernatural hedonism with unorthodox definitions of pleasure, the expansion of sensation to an extremely painful point of sensory overload. They were like ultra into that shit.
Product of entertainment. Whatever sensation you can have must be increased, must be enhanced, must be taken to the limits. The Eldar Empire slipped into a nightmarish realm of debauchery and excess, with the worst of it taking place in a city in the Webway, a black market for these kinds of heinous acts known as Kamara. Some Eldar
we're never going
on
there.
the wall, saw what was happening to their species and how far they had slipped. So they boarded continent-sized starships called craft worlds and left their empire, seeking a more enlightened, calmer existence among
Oh my
their
God,
peers.
that's a lot going
those in
on.
Kamara pushed it to even greater heights, relishing the pain and torment they inflicted on those around them. All during this, the warp, the yin to the yang of the world, was fed by these emotions, by the psychic power.
Oh my
of the
God.
Eldar, by the souls taken in these depraved acts on a galactic scale. And just like that, Eldar ended. Slanesh, the fourth chaos god, was birthed into existence.
I'm
and
sorry?
consumed the souls of 90% of the Eldar population.
I'm
Those
sorry?
that fled were spared the worst of it, and those in the Webway and Kamara were able to stave off the pull of Slanesh so long as they continued to commit horrid acts of torture and violence. But for the majority of the Eldar, their empire died with Slanesh's birth. The new
Who wrote? Oh God, you know what? I kind of understand it now.
fourth chaos god, she who thirsts, the god of unspeakable excess of pleasure, pain, hedonism, and perfection, had been born. With the fall of the Eldar Empire came the ruin of humanity. Slanesh's birth sent storms in the warp across the galaxy, making travel between star systems impossible. Coupled with a huge classic AI rebellion, as a staple in these sci-fi settings, humanity began to suffer the age of strife. Now, planets that relied on intergalactic—
Oh, not just Dune. I forgot to mention Foundation. Foundation is another really good one. I need that next season.
Travel were completely cut off. Long-range messages normally sent through the warp were snuffed out. If you were a planet that was great at mining stuff but couldn't get food, well, you know that movie about the rugby players in the mountains? Oh, and because of these
you're actually just stranded,
warp storms and fluctuations, psychers began to appear among the human population a bit more often. Now, this initially had them hunted down as witches, because that's pretty common in this setting, but some deemed it right to protect them. Unfortunately for those people, psychers, because they open a gateway to the warp, don't really know how to use their powers well, and they kind of attract demons, who then force their way through the psyker as a conduit of sorts and begin to slaughter the population of your planet. The Age of Strife was a catastrophic period of time for humanity and set back their progress tenfold over the not one, not two, but 5,000 year period. During this time, the age of humanity that we know began to form. Worlds equipped with large mechs for agriculture began to equip them with weapons to defend from alien and demonic invaders. Over 5,000 years, this became a custom and tradition, dubbing them as night worlds, a feudal society of honor-bound knights in gigantic robots that uphold the chivalric code to defend their worlds and honor. A group of individuals on Mars, after radioactively bombing their planet to become inhospitable to human life, ran their entire lives underground on the few
what?
life support systems keeping them alive. Those technicians who could work on the machines and keep them operational were revered, and over 5,000 years went from skilled members of society to full-blown priests. The cult mechanicus, or tech priests of Mars, formed in the ashes of the Red Planet with a religious fervor and doctrine on the cult of the machine god. And
Wait, so in Warhammer lore, you're saying the reason why Mars is inhabitable like right now in the 21st century is because they nuked the shit out of it and started hiding underground?
on Earth, or Terra, techno-barbarian tribes waged war across the planet in a Mad Max style of blood and gore.
Wait, what
Until
century are we in now?
a mysterious man who lived in the shadows of Terra for millennia finally revealed himself to the populace. His name was the Emperor. He deemed himself the Emperor.
The Emperor.
Of
It is called the Emperor.
mankind. Where did he come from? I don't know. Why is he 10 feet tall and the most powerful psyker of all of mankind? I don't know. Why is he basically immortal? I don't know. Where'd Cotton Eye Joe go? Who knows? But he's here. And
Wait, is it actually unknown why the Emperor is the way he is? Wait, dead ass?
happy with all of you ripping up Terra. So he began the Unification Wars, where he and a very early version of the famous Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, reunited Terra under a single banner. With blood. Then, after taking over Earth, he reunited the Thunder Warriors into the fucking dirt. This is where we get the Imperium of Man, also known as the Imperium. The new
Okay, I lied earlier. This is the main part of Warhammer that I was familiar with. How did I not know about all of this bullshit before? Are we dead ass? The thing that's crazy about Warhammer is a person existing in that world, or even a person playing like one of the random games, could low-key have no idea about half of this. I mean,
faction
wow.
headed by the Emperor of Mankind, with a treaty signed with the cult Mechanicus on Mars to spread out and reunite humanity after the catastrophic Age of Strife. But first, the Emperor is going to need some smaller versions of himself. 20 of them, 18 of them, I meant, gene-crafted sons of the strongest human to ever live. All of them possess unparalleled strategic power, intelligence, formidable strength and size. A real powerful force to unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy. Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy? It's like throwing the baby like a basketball. It's about what happened. The Chaos Gods intervened and grabbed the 18 Primarch gestation pods and yeeted them across the galaxy at a whim, everywhere they could possibly go. A galactic game of keep away.
Why?
So the Emperor had to get them back. So begins
Why'd they do that now?
Crusade. A crusade across the stars to reunite not just humanity, but the Emperor with his fallen sons. The first to be found was Horus, one of the strongest and most noble sons. The Emperor carried with him a legion of newly crafted warriors with genetic material made from their Primarch father. These are the newly made Space Marines. For Horus, his were the Luna Wolves. And as the Emperor continued on his great crusade, he found more and more of his sons, reuniting them with their individual Space Marine legions.
What is this Voyage of the Dawn Treader ass quest he's on? What? That's kind of wild. I know they weren't birthed normally. Are they closer to clones than they are sons? If so, it kind of reminds me of the Emperor in Foundation. It has one of the most interesting sci-fi, I guess, main antagonist setups. I guess it's debatable whether or not he's the main antagonist, but the Emperor literally has a cycle of cloning himself. He exists in threes: dawn, day, and dusk. Youngest, middle, oldest. It was weird. I'm not specifically big into sci-fi, but there's a decent amount of sci-fi stuff that I actually really like. I'm just not realizing.
Leman Russ, the cunning hunter with the space wolves. Rogel Dorm, the phalanx with the imperial fists. Angron, the barbarian, the very angry with his world eaters. Fulgrim, the perfect with his emperor's children. And Jagatai Khan, the swift, the stoic, and his white scars. Those were just some of the 18, and one by one his lost Primarch sons were returned to him, and their Space Marine legions returned to them. The Great Crusade saw humanity once again reconquer the stars, returning worlds of humanity back to the Imperium and killing any and all who stood against their noble crusade. But in the years of the 31st millennia, treachery would break this all apart.
Which one was it again? Horus.
Horus, the Emperor's most beloved and favored sons, named War Master for the Crusade, succumbed to the power of chaos and daddy issues, all because of that bastard Erebus. Yo, fuck Erebus. Slowly, Horus would become corrupted, turning the Emperor's sons against him. This begins the most pivotal moment in our story, and the one that has like 50 books written about it, the Horus Heresy. 9 of the 18 Primarchs turned against the Emperor, and the following years were a bloody battle for the throne of Terra. The Emperor originally was working on a special webway project, just like the Eldar, to make faster-than-light travel significantly easier and safer. Really improve humanity to allow them to conquer the stars without the risk of the warp. Well, this big red idiot named Magnus kind of blew a hole into that, literally and figuratively. So Big E over there is stuck on a gigantic golden throne, holding back the oncoming rush of demons and powering the Astronomicon. Basically a big North Star for people who are sailing in the warp to help them navigate. The Horus Heresy saw many loyalist and traitor legions pitted against each other in a bloody war until it reached Terra itself. Horus, unable to break through the lines and with time running out, made a gambit and opened his ship up to be boarded. The Emperor took this challenge, quickly allowing someone else to take control of the throne as he teleported his way on the Horus flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor, himself, unable to truly kill his most beloved son, changed his mind right quick when Horus strangled the life out of his other son, Sanguinius. I'm sure you've seen this image at some point. The Emperor then said, "I'm not gonna sugarcoat it," and proceeded to psychically blast Horus into complete oblivion, killing
Yo, I'd be like, yo, you couldn't do that before he killed my ass? Like, lock in, bro.
not only his body, but also his soul.
Oh.
Horribly wounded from this duel, the Emperor is returned to the Golden Throne in order to keep the demons at bay and power the Astronomicon.
Don't they have to,
without it, humanity would be flying blind. There he sits, slowly dying from his wounds and the strain of powering the Golden Throne. The only thing keeping him alive is feeding upon the souls of 1,000 Psykers every single day.
That's what I was gonna say. I do remember that.
Years ago. We are now in the 41st millennium, modern day. Warhammer 40,000. The Emperor remains on his throne. The Imperium is a rotting carcass of an empire, a fascist, xenophobic cult that worships the Emperor as a deity despite him never wanting to be seen as a god.
That's the crazy part. He's legit just kind of stuck there holding everything together. And all this bullshit's happening around him now. Is that not crazy?
Span of 1 million worlds, the ecclesiarchy, the church of the Emperor, is spread throughout. Inquisitors with unparalleled
Is he like aware this entire time, or is he kind of in a coma?
Heresy or lack of devotion to their god Emperor. The other half of the traitor legions move about as Chaos Space Marines, raiding and pillaging the Imperium, while the loyalist half does their best to keep the Empire alive. All throughout this, they must endure Orc invasions, Eldar trickery, the reawakening of the Necron race, and the Great Devourer, the newest Tyranid threat from the darkness between galaxies that has arrived to feast on their worlds.
They sleep.
The theme of Warhammer 40,000 is regression and intolerance. Every major faction in Warhammer has had an empire that spanned the galaxy only to be crushed back to a hollow shell of what they once were due to their own failings. Culture, the arts, personal freedom, religious tolerance, the simple possibility that alien life might not want to kill us is considered heretical and is often met with a pistol to the head. There is no time for these things. All there is time for is worship of the God Emperor and a million wars to be fought. To be a human in the 41st millennia is 99% of the time to live a horrible existence. To be one of trillions of other humans across 1,000,000 worlds throughout the galaxy. A galaxy where AI is outlawed, so humans are repurposed and lobotomized to become slaves. A place where lack of devotion is met with death. And if you even have devotion, there's a good chance the threats to the galaxy, chaos, and aliens will kill you anyway. Warhammer is a world where you revel in being bad. There are protagonists, there are antagonists, but every faction is some shade of evil. Because playing the bad guys is always more fun. And my friend, you have a selection. So pick up that las gun soldier. You and the other 3 million men and women in this single deployment on this single world in this single battle will now show them the might of the God Emperor. That weapon in your hands has killed 99% of the alien populations in this galaxy. Unfortunately for you, soldier, you're fighting the final 1%. May the Emperor be with us. Glory to the first man to die, for in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Oh my, okay. Aesthetically, this is so sick. Yeah, if I were in the Warhammer world, just go ahead and take me out, bro. None of that could be worth it. You're just cooked no matter what. Oh my god, I thought World of Warcraft was crazy with the factions. Every game that I'm learning the lore about gets more and more extreme. Like I said, I don't know that I'm gonna go through all of these videos on my channel, but it is dope learning about this. I know it looks like he goes over into different factions too. Warhammer's a crazy universe. Like, how many people have contributed to writing this? Anyway, subscribe if you like seeing more stuff like this from me. Check out my Twitch. I'll see y'all next time, bro.